Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Those that are new and visiting, thank you so much for joining. We have I have some wonderful healers with me today. We're sending out our healing to Gaia, to wherever the energy is needed really, but we do want to set our intentions. I'll start with Stacy. Stacy, please.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Adey's channel. So my intention will be set to send healing to the sacral chakra of Gaia, which is Lake Titicaca around is South America, straddling the border between Peru and Bolivia in the Andes Mountains. So that's where I'll be sending my energy tonight.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Stacy. I think Michelle and I have the same intentions, but Michelle, if you're going to do something different, let me know, but I'll set mine. I am aiming my healing towards the upper chakras of Gaia, the third eye, the throat, and the crown chakra. That's where I'll be sending my healing to the various parts of the world where those chakras are located. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm gonna do all the chakras. Plus, I want to focus on specifically the ether, the air, and clearing out toxins. So, okay. Thanks.
Wow, how beautiful. Thank you. All right, thank you so much, everyone. We're going to get into our meditation. I will turn off my camera and my mic. We will see you in a bit. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Stace just dropped. She had a bunch of things typed out. I don't know if you wanted to read them or have commentary.
Oh, did she? Okay. Oh, shoot. Is it in Hangouts that she typed it?
Yeah, I'm about to. I'll send it over to you. It's really pretty neat. She saw a lot of things.
I didn't see it, whatever she typed.
Okay.
If you see it, please read it out loud.
Okay.
So, my experience, God, I'm so thirsty. Oh, here it is. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Okay, wow. Okay, so she said, hi, honey, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry.
It was powerful. I saw a lot of stuff. This is super powerful for me. I guess you don't want me to read it out loud.
I can share it with you.
Yeah, please share.
Sorry.
There you go. You're here.
My boyfriend's got his saw going, so just give me. He's in construction, so he has his own business. So this is what happens.
No worries.
Out of the house. So this was super powerful. I mean, I'm on a bit of cloud nine right now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go outside actually.
Beautiful.
So I might even come off. I'm gonna show you guys what I have out here.
Take your time, yeah.
I don't know. I'll kind of show you a little bit of the yard there. Okay, so first I'm gonna go into this because for those who aren't on the hangout, you won't see everything I wrote. I had to make notes because sometimes for myself when I'm meditating, I have to make notes or I'll forget it. I'm sure Aday's the same, and Michelle might be the same. Where if you're getting channeling information, you might forget some things. So let me just take a minute. Okay, so first I went to the Andes. Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yeah, you
So
can.
first I went to the Andes. And if anyone's okay, I'm sure there's some people who've read Celestine Prophecy, but they did a video of it a little while ago. And I had this visual where the gentleman was standing on this cliff. He was running from a bunch of authorities and he was standing on a cliff and he just saw the beauty that was the Andes, and he just saw the beautiful trees and he saw the beautiful color and everything coming in. And that was the visual that I got, was all of that, the rainforest and everything. And I felt myself sort of like swaying with the forest, and I could hear the wind in the leaves. It was so beautiful. And then I went down sort of into Lake Titicaca. And it was like I was a part of the aquatic life there too. And that as above, so below sort of came to me. So it was like all the beautiful, wonderful, life that you see in the Andes also is maybe provided by Lake Titicaca. And if it wasn't aquatic life and the nutrients provided there, maybe that rainforest wouldn't be so beautiful. So it was so nice to see that, the lake is just as much of an important part of the Andes as the Andes themselves. And then, so that sort of got me into moving into like, I'm looking at my notes. If I look down, that's what I'm looking at. So now I'm looking into water shortages, where you might be wasteful, and just not forgetting that the water that you might be wasting is coming from others. So myself, I have a huge garden, and there's days where I feel a little bit guilty when I have to tap into my water system to water it, because that's not the whole point of it, isn't to like waste water. But if we don't have a lot of rain, that's what I have to do. But what I do have are rain barrels hooked up so that in the event it does rain, I can capture that water and I can use that for my garden. So we don't end up using it if it's not raining. We go to the water barrels first and then we use the hose. So one of those things is looking at where you might be. So Gaia had me everywhere. So I was looking at where you might be wasting water and thinking about where that wasted water might be coming from. Not just the fact that you're wasting it, but who's not getting what you're wasting is what I ultimately got. So, okay. Now I'm moving into, so yeah, rain barrels for gardens, water gray water systems. So there are people that I've seen, especially on the West Coast, who use gray water, which is just essentially, say, your bath water that you have a shower and down the drain it goes and into the sewage system. But it doesn't necessarily have to go that way. There are some people who have their houses rigged or whichever rig so that that gray water goes towards their gardens, and they can choose whether or not they want it to go towards the gardens, or whether they're using a lot of chemical can go into the sewage system and not the gardens itself. So if that water can be used somewhere else, where else can you use it? So then next I got to the fact that Lake Titicaca is between the border of Bolivia and Peru, but take away that border to show that they're all, and the borders everywhere, is that we're all one people on one earth who should all be able to receive the resource of water, and to ultimately know where your water is from, and that you could be taking it from elsewhere that might be needed from people who are fighting for it. And you might be wasting it in areas that you might not need to be wasting it. And it's okay, because once you bring awareness to it, you can change it. So then after that, I got brought into get ready, I got a lot of notes. So then I got into breath of fire. I just started changing my breathing. And to those who don't really know what breath of fire is, some people do it in yoga, where it's not a lot of inhalation and exhalation through the mouth. A lot of it is through the nose. So you're breathing in your lower abdomen and you're exhaling through the nose from your lower abdomen, and it can be very quick. And you can find YouTube videos on it. Maybe I can send a day one and she can put it up on this link. And it just sort of helped me remember to go with the flow of things and be the flow, and to not get in the way of so many things. Because when you get in the way, a lot of times that's your ego. And so even a lot of people hearing the water conservation might be like, their egos are already in the way, but like, I love my showers, my me time, and I get that 100%. But maybe your 45-minute shower could be half an hour, just like even small little changes, right? So and being in the flow of things, of just like life. And I think that brings in sacral chakra a lot, of just sort of like going with the flow and the pleasures of life, because sacral chakra can be a lot about sex and money. And for me, sex isn't so much about sex as much as it is about pleasure. So the pleasures of life, bringing in the pleasures of life, what gives you your little pockets of happiness that you might not necessarily be using. So, and I went golfing today. Every Sunday, I look forward to golfing, and I love looking at the willows, and I love, like, I wish that I could be on the golf course in my bare feet. I'm going to try to see if I can get away with it next time. I hope I don't get kicked off the course, but just looking at all the beautiful scenery and being in nature, like, give yourself those little pockets of pleasure. And then next, so people driven by money. Okay, so driven by money, as in money being your prime purpose in life, is I want to achieve this money, I want to achieve this capital in my life, this however much it is a year, what else I can do with it, etc. But you might not be authentically living. So what this, and like living from your purpose, so what this brought to me was, sometimes maybe, yes, you can earn the income, but you might not be happy. So authentically living through your purpose might actually bring you more income than what you're currently making, and you be happier at the same time. So if you're resisting, and I'm with you guys on this one too, if you're resisting what you're natural at, what you love and what you feel your inner purpose is at, but your ego might be keeping you at bay, or family and stigma from friends and family, or the culture might be keeping you from, and being okay with living your purpose, is to just go with it anyway, because living authentically might actually bring you more, than you can imagine while living an unfulfilling, unauthentic life. And then let me see. And then because I'm from Canada, it just brought me into BC wildfires, because that's going on right now, and I have family out in BC. But just thinking of it as making room for new beginnings, and as a forest itself and the actual, ecosystem itself, it needs a lot of that. It needs, sometimes those fires need to happen for the ecosystem to get what it needs. to just remind us of that. And then it also kind of brought me into the Incan culture and the Incan civilization, because it brought me to Machu Picchu and how that genocide had happened, and how there's so much culture and so much knowledge and history that was lost because of ego-based consciousness. And to kind of remind everyone to not stay in ego consciousness, to come back into your authentic living, because it can be, you know, when you live a life of ego where you feel like I have to have this is mine, you can create a lot of destruction on the way as well. So just to remind you, and not just in other people's life, but in your own too. You know, you might get to that corner office where you're making lots of money, but you might be alone and not happy. So just to remember to stay in your authentic place, and not so much in your ego consciousness. And then just sort of brought me into crystals for your sacral chakra, like your citrine and carnelian. If anyone is wondering what crystals might be good for sacral chakra, those are your easy peasy go-tos, are citrine and carnelian. And I sometimes tell people, if you're wondering what crystals to use for specific chakras, just look at the color. The color of the chakra is usually a pretty good idea. So the sacral chakra is orange. So I myself, and even during this meditation, I ended up having, I think I'm wearing one. I have like a little citrine here wrapped up that I got from a full moon retreat. So citrine is really good, and carnelian is really good. And those are usually readily available. And then I kind of moved into the movie Moana because I love that movie. And it sort of brought me into Te Fiti and how she's supposed to restore the heart of Te Fiti, because, you know, the land is dying around her. And if you restore the heart of Te Fiti, the land will come back. And so at the end of the movie, when they restore the heart of Te Fiti, it ends up being the same being as the angry lava monster. And Te Fiti was the angry lava monster who had her heart taken away from her. Was restored, she came back to her beauty, which was this Mother Earth like energy that gave her energy back to the land, because she was so happy and grateful and back to herself. So for myself, for a visual, actually, I find that Te Fiti from Moana is a very good visual to have. And then just for Gaia and ourselves, that we're all one. So if you want Gaia, the earth, to be strong and healthy in our heart and healthy in everything else, and you have to be as well. And to do that, we lift ourselves up and others up around us, and we don't live for the ego, we live as a whole. And that for me, I think I'm done. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Stacy. A lot of it actually resonated with me and what I did as well. But before I get, especially when you were talking about status quo, how not to follow that and find your own way and be true to yourself. That's just all really, really important. Michelle, would you like to go next?
I have a much shorter version. I felt a lot of heat, and I toned and made sounds corresponding to all my crystals I have laid out to go with the chakras. And I felt the energies, and I used my imagination. And I got a lot of heat, I have to say, so much heat coming through when I got to the first chakra, the root chakra. For some reason, it was like lava hot. But other than that, I just saw lots of really cool flashes of colors and shapes. We all experience our things a lot differently. So I'm done. That's all.
Beautiful. Yeah, we do, but there's also a lot of similarities, because heat, when you said heat, I remembered at one point my hands were so effing hot. They were like balls of fire. I had to set them down on something cold, like a cold surface. I felt extreme heat. As far as who I channeled, just my higher self. Angels were around, but it was more just my higher self sending out the healing as I was going through the chakras of the earth. I started out with the throat chakra in Egypt. I believe it's located by underneath the pyramids. The interesting thing, though, I mean, I don't know why I didn't see this before, but there is a protective shield around each chakra of the earth. And this time around, maybe because I didn't go with the angels, I had to wait to be let into that protective shield around all the chakras. I went to the throat, the crown, and the third eye. So anyway, as I got into the throat chakra, that's where most of my healing went. Not most, but most of my time was spent. There were light beings that assisted me and even helped me go through the protective shield, which was really, really difficult. And that's where I felt a lot of the heat. Now, these beings have no form. They are truly like extremely high dimensional beings. They are here, they told me, to protect and aid Gaia in her ascension, as well as her inhabitants. But their main focus is Gaia. They are her aid, and they are from like 7th, 8th dimension. They're very, very, very high dimensional, no form whatsoever. I just saw like light beings, just light. There was about 6 of them that surrounded me and that helped me with the healing of the throat chakra. And then when it was time to go to the crown, I went to the crown next. It was like they just shot me out, you know, like cannonball. And I ended up at the top of a mountain in Tibet. I believe that is where the crown chakra is. So then I had to deal with that protective shield around that mountain. And it was interesting because at the very tippy top of the mountain, there was just massive energy just shooting out into the air. And that's another thing, actually, I forgot to mention. Part of what closes our throat chakra is the quality of the air that we're breathing. And I believe, Michelle, that was part of your intention, is to clean the air, which was beautiful. So anyway, back to the crown. So yeah, there was this huge surge of energy. It's like pure white with purple tint to it that was shooting out of the top of the mountain. Anyway, that was sort of like the protective shield because it formed this massive shield around the mountain. I got in through it, did the healing there, and then I went to the third eye, the 6th chakra, which was in Glastonbury. It was sort of like aligning itself with the heart chakra. This is the chakra that I believe I was telling you moves around. It's not in a specific spot. And so that's where that was, and sent a lot of light to that region. And then that's where I saw the angels. They were going to each chakra of the earth, sending healing. I also did see humans, you know, the inhabitants, getting that healing in those chakras as well. The message from Gaia was basically to respect all living beings. And by that, she means, you know, they rely on us for life and we rely on them for life as well. So to just remember that relationship that is formed between all the beings that live here, including Gaia. And so that is what I have. I think we all spoke our piece. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Stace.
Thank you. I was going to say, I can definitely relate to that as well, with like the aquatic life, helping keep the waters clean and you know, all of that. So I definitely relate to what you just said. 100%. Yeah. I
think we were all like in synchronicity when we did our healing, because it all just kind of went together. And so I much appreciate you guys for your energy, for your love, and for your light. Thank you. And those that have joined in on the meditation on YouTube land, thank you. We will see you on the next one. So much love to all of you.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Adey.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Love.